Good evening. My name is Ivan Reyes, a second year E student from the class ECEA103-1L, B6 under Professor Joseph Brian Ibarra. Tonight, I will be demonstrating to you problem 3.3 in experiment 4 for module exam number 1 video report. I will be discussing the step-by-step creation of the ladder diagram of the circuit and also the simulation for this circuit. So before we start, we need a little context for experiment 4. So experiment 4 is actually all about relay logic and latching. So specifically 3.3, which is focused on latching operations. So to give you a little bit of context here, a latching relay is a two-position electrically actuated switch. It maintains either contact position indefinitely without power applied to the coil. So it is controlled by two momentary async switches or sensors, one that sets the relay and the other that resets the relay. So for this demonstration, we will be needing the following components. Let me transition to the second screen with the fluid sim display and my face cam located here in the top right. So let's go. So here is the face cam, as you can see up above. So now, first I cropped an image of the already made circuit in circuit 3.3 so that I can explain to you each component that was needed for this experiment. So first of all, we have here the we have here the 24 volts electrical connection ladder, and here is the 0 volts electrical connection, push button 1, push button 2, and push button 3. So all in all, we need three push buttons. So next is we have a make switch, which is supposed to look like this. So that's the make switch. But in this simulation, it is this one. So let me change this color first. So this is the make switch. So we need 4, but 2 of them have the same labels each other. So next is the brake switch. The brake switch has this model here. So the brake switch is this one. So as you can see, we'd need 4 brake switches. So let me just write down, we'd need 4 make switch and we'd need 4 brake switches. So there we go. Then we'd need the relay ladder. Actually, well, just the relay, which is this one. So we need 3 relays. And lastly, we'd need indicator lights. So these 2 here over at the bottom are indicator lights. So we need 2 indicator lights. Now, let me just move this out of the way. And now, as you can see on the screen in front of you, is the truth table for this experiment. So, as we have said a while ago, PB1, PB2, PB3 all stands for push buttons, and 0 is actually off, and 1 stands for on in the in logic theory. So this is the complete truth. This is the complete truth table for this part of the experiment, and I just cropped it out of Microsoft Word. And I will not elaborate further on each of the values inputted here in the bottom in the truth tables and the buttons, and whenever there is an input or output in the light. So I will just proceed with the circuit demonstration. So let us actually move this out of the way as well. Now, we're now going to proceed to creating the ladder diagram here in Fluid Sim. So let me just check OBS if it is recording, and yes it is. So now, let me just create a new file. So here we have it. So what we are going to need, again, we are going to need a 24 volt and 0 volt electrical component. So, and then we'd need 3 push buttons. So let me just label them right away so that we won't forget it. So that's PB1. Let me zoom in. Now we are going to connect PB1 to our to our 24 volts connection. And then we are going to get a make switch and put it under the first push button. Now, label it R1. Now, we're going to attach it to the circuit. Now we are going to take 2 brake switches, copy and paste, label R2 and R3 respectively, R3, and connect it, and then connect this one here. So now as you can see, if we're going to compare it to the picture here, we can clearly see that this model right here is not, this model right here and this model right here, is not the same with the model present here in the in Fluid Sim. So why is that? Well, first of all, we would need to complete the circuit first. So let's actually do that. Once we complete the circuit, it is actually related to the relays that will be placed over here later. So now we're going to put the relays. Again, connect it here, connect, and then we are going to label it R1 as well. Now, as you can see, R1 has already changed its look. So I hope that answers the question, no? So next, so for this entirety here, this one, the one that I highlighted, we were actually going to just copy it to the second ladder over here, second area of the ladder over here. So again, we are going to take another push button, label it PB_2 so that we will not be confused with the labeling. So I will attach it now. Then these 2 brake switches, I'm going to copy again. Let me just align it, and now we are going to attach. So take another relay, attach it, and then attach it. Okay. Take another relay and then attach it. Let me just move this further. Rename it R2 so that it does not connect with the other one. There we go. Attach. And then we're going to need another make switch below the push button. Connect it. Actually label it first. We are going to label it as R2. Now as you can see, R2 corresponds to this. Connect. And now lastly, we are going to make the last line for the push buttons. So push button _3, and then we are going to need another relay. Let's label that relay 3 or relay R3. Okay, so now we're going to connect it. This is the last of the push buttons. Now, as you can see now, if we're going to compare it to the picture now, oops, if we're going to compare it now, as you can see, the components now are looking alike. So you can see here, let me use a pen. So for this, we have completed it, okay? So next is the last two lines of the ladder diagram. So we'll need another last two make switches. So let me just copy and paste, and then we're going to connect it. Label this one R1. Label the next one R2. So then we're going to put an indicator light now. So these are the last two components that we need. Connect it. And there we go. This is the final circuit done. So now we're going to proceed to the simulation of the circuit. So let me just zoom in real quick here. Align it. And now, if we're going to simulate it, so let's press the simulate button. So according to the experiment here, if we are going to press PB1 or button 1, lamp 1 should turn on. So let's try it. There you go. Lamp 1 is turned on. And if we press button 2, it should not affect the output for push button 1. So there we go. There is no output. And if we press push button 3, it should reset the circuit. So there we go. Now, if we do the same thing to push button 2, lamp number 2 will now turn on. And if we do the same process for what we did to push button 1 to push button 2, if we're going to press push button 1, it should not affect the output for push button 2. So let's see. There you go. And if we press push button 3, it should reset the whole circuit. There you go. And if we press push button 3, nothing happens. So that's it for the simulation of this circuit. I hope this was suffice enough for module exam number 1, and thank you for watching.